What happens when a Hollywood icon walks out of a live talk show mid-interview? Well, today, we witnessed something that has the entertainment world buzzing. Make sure to subscribe to the Echo Scoop and like and comment for more talk show coverage. Audience applause, murmurs of curiosity. Sunny Hostin, welcome back, everyone. Today, we have a very special guest. Leonardo DiCaprio is here to discuss his latest project, and, well, apparently a little controversy that's been floating around. Joy Behar, smiling slightly, leaning forward. Yes, Leo. We're thrilled to have you. But I have to ask, there's been some chatter about your involvement in recent environmental campaigns. Some critics say. Leonardo DiCaprio, interrupting, calm but tense. Excuse me, but can we stick to the facts today? I'd rather not get into speculation or hearsay. Audience murmurs, some nodding in agreement, some whispers of surprise. Sunny Hostin, leaning in, slightly raising her eyebrows. Of course, Leo. But the facts are, you've been very vocal on climate issues. And some people think that sometimes your approach overshadows the actual work. What do you say to that? Leonardo, well, my goal is awareness. I don't need to argue about perceptions. I'd rather focus on results. Joy Behar, slightly leaning back, her tone a mix of curiosity and gentle provocation. I hear that, but the reality is, people are talking about the style versus substance, and I think that's fair to discuss. Audience, ohs, softly, sensing the tension rising. Sunny, cutting in, firm but polite. Leo, some would say the same about Hollywood in general. Do you feel like you're constantly under that microscope? Leonardo, sighs, leaning forward slightly. Yes, of course. But at the same time, I know who I am, and I know the work I've done. That's what matters to me. Joy Behar, tilting her head, voice calm but insistent. But isn't there a responsibility to also manage the perception? I mean, people watch these appearances closely. Leonardo, raising his hand slightly, gesturing as if to pause the line of questioning. Look, I respect the questions, but if this is going to be about criticizing tone over results, maybe this isn't the right forum for that discussion. Audience shifts in their seats, some whispers of surprise and excitement. Cameras catch the tension building. Sunny, leaning back, adjusting papers. We're just trying to explore all angles here. It's a live show, and that's part of the discussion. We don't mean to attack. Leonardo, pausing, eyes narrowing slightly, his voice calm but firm. I understand, but I also know my boundaries. And right now, I think we're heading into a territory that I'm not comfortable with on air. The studio gets slightly quiet, even the crew off camera is tense. Audience begins murmuring. Joy Behar, smiling nervously, trying to keep it light. Well, we want you to feel welcome, Leo. Really we do. We're just trying to have an honest conversation, like the show always does. Leonardo, standing, straightening his jacket slightly. I appreciate that, but I think I've made my point. I'd rather not continue this part of the conversation. Audience gasps softly, camera pans to show reactions, some shocked, some impressed by his stance. Sunny, voice steady, leaning slightly forward. Leo, are you saying? Leonardo, walking toward the exit, turning his head briefly. I think it's best if we pause here. Thank you for having me. Audience erupts in soft claps, some murmuring in surprise. Joy and Sunny exchange glances, slightly stunned by the abruptness. Joy Behar, recovering quickly, voice calm but slightly tense. Well, that was unexpected. Seems like Leo has made his decision clear. Sunny, nodding, composed but clearly unsettled. Yes, unexpected, but it's live TV, and that's what can happen when strong personalities meet real debate. Camera cuts to audience reactions, whispers, claps, and people pulling out phones, presumably live-tweeting the moment. Joy Behar, leaning slightly towards Sunny, whispering just enough for mics to pick up a hint. Did you see that look on his face? That's intense. Sunny, soft chuckle, still addressing the audience. Yes, and that's the unpredictability of live talk shows. Anything can happen, and clearly it did today. Audience murmurs, phones flash, camera captures the quiet chaos, the live moment sinking in. The camera cuts back to the hosts after Leonardo's sudden exit. The studio is buzzing. Audience murmurs and whispers fill the space, some recording with their phones. The tension is palpable. Joy Behar leans forward, adjusting her microphone, trying to regain composure. Joy Behar, well, that was definitely unexpected. Leo clearly had boundaries, and I suppose we have to respect that. But the timing, right? Audience murmurs, some clapping in agreement, others gasping quietly. A few people audibly whisper about the incident. Sunny Hostin, absolutely Joy. I mean, we're live, we ask direct questions, that's our job. But when someone walks out mid-interview, it's not just a dramatic moment, it's also a sign of strong feelings about the conversation itself. Joy Behar, nodding, leaning back in her chair, right? And it wasn't like we were attacking him personally. We were just diving into the public perception and responsibilities that come with being a celebrity, especially someone as vocal as Leonardo on environmental issues. Sunny Hostin, gesturing subtly with her hand, exactly. But I have to admit, the way he stood up and left, that body language alone was incredibly telling. His posture, the look on his face, very controlled but very firm. He wanted to make a statement without saying another word. Audience reacts again. Some nod, others murmur appreciatively. The camera zooms in on a few audience members whispering to each other, some recording on their phones. A subtle mix of excitement and tension fills the room. Joy Behar, Sunny, moments like this highlight how much celebrities are under pressure. Imagine being in front of millions watching, and you feel the conversation is moving into territory you're uncomfortable with. It's a real challenge. Sunny Hostin, tilting her head thoughtfully, absolutely. And what's fascinating is that it opens a broader discussion for all of us, right? The responsibility of celebrities, the boundaries of journalists, and the expectations of the audience. Everyone has a perspective. Audience claps lightly, some leaning forward as if following a live classroom discussion rather than a show. Joy Behar, slightly chuckling, turning to Sunny, and let's be honest, it's live television. Anything can happen. The unpredictability is part of the thrill, but also part of the tension we feel as hosts. You never know if a guest will stay professional or, well, like today, choose to make a bold exit. Sunny Hostin, exactly. And I think it's important to note, this isn't personal. Leonardo walked out because he knew his own limits. And respecting boundaries is key, whether it's a talk show, social media, or any public engagement. I think viewers often forget that celebrities are human too. Audience whispers, some nodding, some pulling out their phones, likely already posting reactions on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. Joy Behar. And speaking of social media, we can already imagine the online reaction, memes, tweets, maybe even live commentary videos. The moment is so visually striking, Leonardo's controlled frustration, Sunny's reaction, and the abruptness of it all, that it's perfect content for fans and critics alike. Sunny Hostin, laughing softly, leaning toward Joy, I know. Within minutes, the hashtags are probably trending. Hashtag LeoWalkout, hashtag tense talk show moment. The audience online will dissect every second, body language, tone of voice, even the subtle pauses. It's incredible how fast moments like this spread. Joy Behar. And that brings up an interesting point, the interplay between live TV and social media. A moment like this wouldn't have had the same impact 20 years ago. Now, every action is immediately amplified, every expression analyzed, every gesture shared. And as hosts, we have to be aware of that influence. Sunny Hostin nods, serious tone, yes. And it also reminds us, preparation is key. You can anticipate tough questions, but you can't anticipate exactly how someone will react in real time. It's part of the unpredictability and excitement of being on a live talk show. Audience reacts again, some murmuring, some clapping lightly. The energy in the room is tense but electric. Joy Behar, smiling, addressing the camera and audience, I think one thing is clear. This is why people watch live shows. For genuine moments, for unfiltered reactions. Today was a perfect example. And honestly, it's not over yet. The ripple effect of this moment will continue long after the cameras stop rolling. Sunny Hostin, exactly. And our job is to navigate it, discuss it, and provide context for viewers at home. Not just the drama, but the real human emotions involved. It's fascinating to see both sides, the guest's perspective and the audience's reaction. Audience murmurs, some leaning forward eagerly. A few take notes or record clips, clearly engaged with the analysis. Joy Behar, I'm curious to hear your thoughts, audience. How would you react if someone walked out mid-interview? Would you be surprised, impressed, or frustrated? Because this moment really divides opinions. It's not black and white. Sunny Hostin, smiling, leaning forward toward audience. Yes, that's the beauty of live television, the unpredictability. And in a way, it's educational too. We witness real reactions, real tension, and real human boundaries. It's raw, unfiltered, and absolutely compelling. Audience claps again. A few people chuckle, some shake their heads in disbelief. The camera pans across the room, capturing mixed reactions, some shocked, some excited, some impressed by Leonardo's firm stance. Joy Behar, turning to Sunny, quietly, but audible on camera. Do you think he'll respond on social media later? Or maybe his team will release a statement? Sunny Hostin, thoughtful, most likely, yes. There's always a follow-up online. And viewers will be waiting. That's the power of a live moment. It doesn't end when the show cuts, it just begins a new conversation elsewhere. Audience nods, claps lightly again, and cameras catch a few audience members already typing into their phones. Joy Behar, facing camera, so, stay tuned. The discussion isn't over. And for all of you watching, make sure you follow social media, see the reactions, and of course, subscribe to the Echo Scoop to get every update on moments like this. Audience claps louder this time, some cheering softly, phones waving in the air. The camera pans to the hosts, who share a brief glance, acknowledging the impact of the moment and the live tension that just unfolded. The camera cuts back to Joy Behar and Sunny Hostin as the audience murmurs settle slightly. The energy in the studio is still thick. People are leaning forward, phones out, ready to record or tweet their reactions. Joy Behar. Well, it's one thing to watch a celebrity on a show, and it's another to witness a moment like that, a walkout. It's rare, but it happens. And when it does, it changes the dynamic entirely. Sunny Hostin, nodding, voice calm but serious, absolutely. And you could see it in his body language. Not just leaving the stage, but the firmness in his steps, the controlled tension in his posture. He wasn't angry in a wild way, but he was making a statement. Clear, firm boundaries. Joy Behar, leaning in towards Sunny, whispering slightly but audible, and let's not forget the timing. Right in the middle of a question that touched on public perception versus personal responsibility. That's a hot spot for any guest. Audience reacts audibly, some murmurs, some nods, some gasps. Camera pans across audience members, capturing the tension. Sunny Hostin, looking directly at the camera, you know, Joy, it really brings up the question of live TV etiquette. How far can a host push before it's considered overstepping? And how much leeway should a celebrity have to walk away without repercussions? Joy Behar, writes Sunny. Because the walkout itself becomes a headline. That moment overshadows the content of the interview, the discussion about climate initiatives, environmental campaigns, all of it. And that's where the challenge lies for us as hosts. Audience murmurs again. A few people whisper to each other, trying to speculate what Leo might post online. Cameras catch subtle facial reactions, some shocked, some impressed. Sunny Hostin, and the audience at home, that's a whole other layer. Millions of people are watching, tweeting, live streaming reactions. Within minutes, social media is flooded. Hashtags trending. Analysis videos. And all we did was ask a direct question. Joy Behar, gesturing with her hands, slightly animated, exactly. And as hosts, we can't predict how someone will react in real time. Live television gives you that raw, unpredictable energy. And that's why people love it, but it's also a risk. Audience murmurs, claps lightly, some leaning in, anticipating the host's next point. Sunny Hostin. And speaking of risk, joy, let's talk about the viewer's perspective. Some people might see Leonardo's exit as bold, a stand for personal boundaries. Others might see it as rude or dismissive. And both reactions are valid, because it's a human response. Joy Behar. Absolutely. It divides opinion, and that's the fascinating part. Some fans will defend him passionately online, others will criticize the move. And in a live setting, you feel that tension in the room immediately, which we did. Audience reacts, a few clapping softly, some murmuring agreement. Phones flash as people begin recording small clips. Sunny Hostin, leaning forward, serious tone, and then there's the ripple effect for other celebrities. They watch these moments, and they see the balance between transparency and control. It becomes an example, how to assert yourself without creating chaos, or how to maintain dignity while standing your ground. Joy Behar, nodding, thoughtful, yes, and that's why it's so intriguing. It's not just about the celebrity or the show. It's about understanding the psychology of live engagement. The hosts, the audience, the guest, the cameras, and the millions watching online simultaneously. Audience reacts audibly, a few whispering in agreement, others still typing on phones. Sunny Hostin, and I have to say, joy watching the aftermath in the studio, the shift in energy, the subtle tension between us, the crew, and even the audience, it's palpable. You can feel it. That's live TV magic. Joy Behar. And it also forces reflection. How do you approach sensitive topics without crossing a line? How does a guest maintain professionalism while expressing discomfort or disagreement? And how do the hosts navigate that moment without escalating tension unnecessarily? Audience nods, some clapping lightly. Camera pans over audience faces showing mixed reactions, shock, curiosity, admiration. Sunny Hostin, exactly. And the online conversation will only amplify this. Clips of Leonardo's exit will circulate. Fans, critics, commentators, they'll all dissect his words, body language, and timing. And it'll keep the story alive well beyond the show's airing. Joy Behar, leaning back, voice reflective, it's also a lesson in communication. How to set limits, maintain authority, and yet respect the platform. Leonardo's move, intentional or not, sparks discussion on boundaries, media pressure, and public perception. Audience murmurs and whispers again. Some excitedly discuss how unusual the moment was. Sunny Hostin, and finally, it emphasizes the unpredictability and rawness of live television. That's the reality. As hosts, you prepare, you anticipate, but you never truly know. That uncertainty creates compelling television, even if it tests nerves and patience. Joy Behar, absolutely, Sunny. And that's why people tune in. For moments like this, authentic, human, tense, unscripted. It's both exhilarating and nerve-wracking, and it reminds us why live talk shows have an enduring appeal. Audience claps, some cheering softly, capturing the energy on camera. Hosts exchange subtle nods, acknowledging the intensity and impact of the unfolding discussion. The camera cuts back to Joy Behar and Sunny Hostin after a brief pause. The audience is buzzing, whispering to each other, some still filming the chaotic yet fascinating moment that just unfolded. The energy is tense but curious, a mix of shock and excitement. Joy Behar, leaning forward, addressing the audience and camera, well, folks, it's safe to say today's episode took an unexpected turn. Leonardo DiCaprio walked out mid-interview, and honestly, moments like this remind us why live talk shows are unpredictable and real. Audience murmurs in agreement, a few claps, some excited whispers. Sunny Hostin, absolutely joy. And as the dust settles in the studio, we can't ignore the broader implications. The audience at home is already reacting on social media. I can almost guarantee that within minutes, hashtags like #LeoWalkout and #TenseTalkShowMoment were trending. Camera pans to audience members, some nodding, some typing on phones. Joy Behar, yes, Sunny. And that's the fascinating part. The moment didn't end when Leonardo left the stage. Online, people are already analyzing every detail. His body language, his tone, the way he handled the questions, and the abruptness of his exit. It's sparking debates across platforms, and we're witnessing that ripple effect firsthand. Sunny Hostin, nodding, serious tone, and let's not forget the fans' reactions. Some will see this as a bold move, standing up for personal boundaries, maintaining dignity. Others might view it as abrupt or even disrespectful to the platform. Both perspectives are valid, and that division is what makes this moment so compelling. Joy Behar, exactly. And in a way, it teaches a lesson for viewers and future guests alike. How do you balance honesty with diplomacy? How do you handle uncomfortable questions while keeping composure? And when is it appropriate to walk away? Audience reacts with soft claps and murmurs, clearly engaged in the conversation. Phones flash as people record snippets of the discussion. Sunny Hostin. And speaking of lessons, I think this moment also highlights the pressures of celebrity life. Every word, every reaction is scrutinized. You can prepare for questions, but the unpredictability of live TV, combined with millions of viewers online, creates an intense environment. Joy Behar, absolutely. And we saw that intensity right here, live in the studio. Even we, as hosts, had to navigate our own reactions while keeping the conversation grounded and professional. It's a delicate balance, and that's what makes live talk shows so engaging for audiences. Audience murmurs, some leaning forward, whispering to neighbors, clearly reflecting on the unpredictability. Sunny Hostin. And now, as the show wraps up, the discussion will continue online. Clips of Leonardo walking out will be shared across platforms, dissected by fans, commentators, and critics alike. The conversation doesn't stop here. It amplifies the moment, creating a social media buzz that extends far beyond the studio walls. Joy Behar. Yes, and that's exactly why these moments matter. They are unfiltered, authentic, and human. And as we analyze them here, we also remind viewers that talk shows are not scripted movies. They are real people having real conversations, sometimes tense, sometimes unexpected. Audience reacts audibly, murmurs, soft claps, a few cheer. The camera captures mixed expressions: shock, curiosity, admiration. Sunny Hostin. And to all the viewers at home, remember, this moment is not just about Leonardo or The View. It's about understanding communication, boundaries, and live interaction. It's about the human side of celebrities and the unpredictability of television. Joy Behar, smiling, gesturing to the audience, exactly. And as we wrap up, we want to hear from you. Share your opinions on today's episode. Would you have reacted the same way? What do you think about walking out mid-interview? Is it a bold move or inappropriate? We want to know your thoughts. Audience claps, some laughing lightly, some nodding. Phones are still out, capturing the last moments of the discussion. Sunny Hostin. And don't forget, moments like this remind us why live shows are still relevant. Real tension, real dialogue, real reactions. That's what keeps audiences engaged, both in studio and at home. Joy Behar. So, for everyone watching, make sure to share your opinion in the comments and subscribe to the Echo Scoop for more real talk show stories. We'll continue covering moments like these, analyzing the tension, the reactions, and the aftermath of live television. Audience gives a round of applause, some standing, others clapping softly. The camera pans across the room, catching people whispering excitedly, some already planning social media posts. The hosts share a brief, knowing glance, acknowledging the impact of the episode. Sunny Hostin. And with that, we'll conclude today's discussion. But one thing is clear, live talk shows are unpredictable, and when a guest makes a strong move like Leonardo did, it creates a moment that people will remember and discuss for days, even weeks. Joy Behar, leaning back, smiling, absolutely. And that's the beauty of live TV. It's raw, real, and unforgettable. The camera slowly pans out, capturing audience reactions, phones flashing, murmurs of speculation, and the hosts smiling professionally. The scene fades as the studio lights dim slightly, leaving viewers at home with anticipation, questions, and engagement for the next discussion.